you too far away to get sick. But it's the doctor said it's everywhere now, so like everybody is getting it, and it's not COVID. God thanks. So thank you, Maleficent. Okay. Okay. I'm starting the event in 1 minute. I just start because not every one of our Spartans have a voice on, and but you might already know with which poem I will start, and it is the poem that Kia sent me on the last event in Sparta. She were present, and she made me actually fell in love with this poem from Charles Bukowski, because I know this poet. I always used to read him in German, but he sounds so great in English as well. So I will start the event with Charles Bukowski. And the poem called A Bluebird. Just a second. I'm tipping a friend, a great poet as well. Welcome, Shaila. It's good to see you. Oh, I need to make a special seat for her. Those seats are cold, and you're so small. You get you get cold. Okay, guys, we're starting. There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I am too tough for him. I say, just a second, I forgot to paste it on local chat. So I start over. There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I am too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I pour whiskey on him and inhale cigarette smoke, and the wares and bartenders and the grocery clerks never know that he's in there. There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I am too tough for him. I say, stay down. Do you want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? You want to blow my book sales in Europe? There is a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I am too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes when everybody is asleep. I lost my lines. No, I didn't read it to the end yet. I said I am sick today. I shouldn't be reading an event. Oh, God. I will try to find the line. Really, guys, I am with a fever here, sitting.
Would you like me to finish it for you?
Yes, please, thank you.
Well, I might start from the top. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay in there. I'm not going to let anybody see you. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, and I pour whiskey on it and inhale cigarette smoke. And the whores and the bartenders and the grocery clerks never know he's in there. There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out, but I'm too tough for him. I say, stay down. You want to mess me up? You want to screw up the works? Do you want to blow my book sales in Europe? There's a bluebird in my heart that wants to get out. But I'm too clever. I only let him out at night sometimes when everybody's asleep. I say, I know you're there, so don't be sad. Then I put him back, and he's singing a little in there. I haven't quite let him die. We sleep together like that with our secret pact. And it's nice enough. Nice enough to make a man weep, but I don't weep. Do you? There's a bluebird in my heart by Charles Bukowski. Thank you. Annika.
Thank you too, Kia. And I'm going on with Charles Bukowski. And it's another poem. Thank you, Kirian. Sheila. And it's called Do You Want to Be a Writer? So do you want to be a writer? If it doesn't come bursting out of you in spite of everything, don't do it. Unless it comes unasked out of your heart and your mind and your mouth and your good, don't do it. If you have to sit for hours staring at your computer screen or hunched over your typewriter searching for words, don't do it. If you're doing it for money or fame, don't do it. If you're doing it because you want women in your bed, don't do it. If you have to sit there and rewrite it again and again, don't do it. And if it is hard work just thinking about doing it, don't do it. If you are trying to write like somebody else, forget about it. If you have to wait for it to roar out of you, then wait patiently. If it never does roar out of you, do something else. Sorry. If you first have to read it to your wife, or your girlfriend, or your boyfriend, or your parents, or to anybody at all, you're not ready. Don't be like so many writers. Don't be like so many thousands of people who call themselves writers. Don't be dull and boring and pretentious. Don't be consumed with self-love. The libraries of the world have yawned themselves to sleep over your kind. Don't add to that. Don't do it. Unless it comes out of your soul like a rocket, unless being still would drive you to madness or suicide or murder, don't do it. Unless the sun inside you is burning your good, don't do it. When it is truly time and you have been chosen, it will do it by itself, and it will keep on doing it until you die or it dies in you. There is no other way, and there never was. And it was by Charles Bukowski. So you want to be a writer. Okay, the mic is yours, Clanix.
I wish you well as well. Try lemon and honey. This is a $340 horse and a $100 whore by Charles Bukowski. Don't ever get the idea I'm a poet. You can see me at the racetrack any day half drunk, betting quarters, sidewheelers and straight furrows. But let me tell you, there are some women there who get where the money goes, and sometimes when you look at these whores, the $100 whores, you wonder sometimes if nature isn't playing a joke, dealing out so much breast and arse and the way it's all hung together. You look and you look and you look and you can't believe it. There are ordinary women, and then there is something else that wants to make you tear up paintings and break albums of Beethoven across the back of the John. Anyhow, the season was dragging and the big boys was getting busted. All the non-pros, the producers, the cameraman, the pushers of Mary, the fur salesman, the owners themselves. And St. Louis was running this day. The side wheeler that broke when he got in close. He ran with his head down and was mean and ugly and 35-1. And I put a 10 down on him. The driver broke him wide. Took him out by the fence where he'd be alone, even if he had to travel 4 times as far, and that's the way he went it. All the way by the other fence, travelling 2 miles in one, and he won like he was mad as hell. He wasn't even tired. And the biggest blonde of all, for ass and breast, hardly anything else, went to the payoff window with me.
Thank you very much, Clanix, for sharing this one. Does anybody want to share a poem? Please do not hesitate and tell me, and you will be the next reader in the queue. Okay, Michael, you're up. Wonderful. Go on, please.
How about now? There we go. Okay, so a couple poems, right? Let's start with a short one. It's Invictus by William Ernest Henley. And keeping with the format here, give me 1 second. Got to transfer between pages. Alright, so out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. Pardon me. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud under the bludgeonings of chance. My head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears, looms from the horror of the shade, and yet from the menace of the years, finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how straight the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. And so is everybody else here, right? And save. Whoops, 1 second. Oh no. I hit something wrong. And it's a short one too, apparently. Alright, so Ozymandias. Or at least what they say is Ozymandias. I seem to recall it was a much longer poem. But, and I've messed it up here. I met a traveler from an antique land who said, 2 vast and trunkless trees of stone stand in the desert. Near them on the sand, half sunk, a shattered visage lies, whose frown and wrinkle sneer of cold. Oh, what a sculptor will those passions read. which yet survived, stamped on these lifeless things, the hand that mocked them and the heart that fed. And on the pedestal these words appear. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look at my works, mighty and despair. Nothing besides remains round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare. Lone, level sands stretch far away. And that's it for now. Thanks.
Amazing, Michael. Thank you for sharing those pretty poems. And I will read now my last poem, and or two maybe. Or no, I will let Kia. I didn't saw her message before. Kia, the mic is yours, dear.
Oh, thank you, Annika. I have got three short ones I'd like to read. Can everybody hear me okay? Submission. You can learn something new every day. I sure try to, and Google makes it easy. No more fingering through the Funkin' Wagnalls. And I just learned the other day that the word Islam means submission. And what a good name for a religion. Well, it's no surprise. I've lived it my whole life. And now, nearer to death than I would like, it really is the last thing I want on my mind. And yet, no matter how old I get, it still seems to go on. It just never stops, even a night out with the boys or playing keys with the girls, making blues with a new attitude. Still, after a set, someone will get inside my head and they will have some sad chide. They will get in my ear. I have to hear them tell me just how I should play in their Catholic way. I just have to say, go away. I'm not into submission. And this one is Bukowski. My take on his poem about writing poetry or verse or anything really. I call it just jot. Of life, of birth and death, so much less than a fleeting moment in time, and yet those of us who mark on page with pen, mark us all, aware or not, change our world in time a lot. So my friend, don't stop to wonder why you do. Just jot. And I'd like to finish with this. It's just a little bit humorous and a little bit not. There's a little explanation at the beginning. Hooroo is another term for hooray, like hooroo and see you next week. And baoma is the Chinese term for BMWs, literally meaning precise horse. So this is called Hooroo Gurus, my daily rant. You know how much I love those gurus. When I see them around, I just say, hooroo. The day I saw the Dalai Lama, he was such a smiling charmer, riding in his big black bauma, waves to all but saying nada. When we were dining in the Abbey with the Dean, I felt so shabby I failed to ask if such a thinker could have belief or just was blinkered. But still today, the church sells bleaches. It cures the virus, the headman teaches. Tweeting journos crap is so annoying, yet in my throat there's a cloying. when you know who says it's okay to drink pool cleaner. For me, no way. Not much more left here to say, but tomorrow is another day. Thank you. Back to you.
Oh, I was talking with my voice off. It was wonderful. Thank you very much, Kia. Noch Applaus für dies, für you. And the next one is the Clanix. Clanix, please, the mic is yours.
Thank you, dear. Okay, this one's called Janus. And just for something to think on. If a photon represents a quantum of energy, and this is the minimum amount of energy there is, it's a quantum. Then why are there different colours?
Janus. Nature sets easy tasks. The photons is to shed light on a change in state of matter by one quantum of energy, the smallest found amount. Curiously though, a single photon can be split into two, even if the quanta of energy cannot. What's more, these paired photons, once separated, retain a link called spooky action at a distance. This means if one of the pair is looked at, the other in the alliance knows, presenting some possibility that looking and seeing don't actually have much in common. After all, the eye is only mother of one moment in time. I think for putting things in the same as a box in the tale of Schrodinger's cat, always there, but sometimes ignored and sometimes never seen, turning time into a spiral of discoveries, round of turns, conjured from all the forces of nature and called for instances of how magnificent the vista is compared to how compartmentalized the image of ourselves has become, leaving us Fibonacci asymmetrical and unable to see round corners or through black holes, even if the world, the moon, and the tongue can. Just ask an experimental physicist or randomly try to plan a straight line outside of human design. That's the last thing to learn. The things, nature never could. But that's another story, and one much more suited to a book of children's fables than a serious discussion about how insensible the current theory is.
Amazing, as always, Granix. Thank you very much for this poem. Anybody have a poem to share, please do not hesitate and let me know, and you will be the next reader in the queue. Meanwhile, I will read a poem for someone very special, that was written for someone very special to me, and actually it came during the session of Dash, because I heard the prompt word wind, and then I wrote a poem called Leaf in the Wind. And I am pasting it on local chat. Just a second. And I think even this translator, German translated, did really good job with this poem. I just have to do some few edits. And it goes like this. Leaf in the wind. The north wind is the softest during the springtime and most striking in winter. Swirled and whirled my thoughts, spun in a bouncy swinging dance. I was the winter today, until I saw you, and turned within seconds into the spring. Somewhere in my head rang out a lively melody, and birds and flowers that revealed your smiling face, and I laughed it loud and sincere and wholehearted. The north wind blew from the north, and I am dancing in front of the mirror, naked, leaf in the wind, waiting for tomorrow, and for you to be present in my wind and be my wind, and for you to be me. Yes, that was my own piece. And does anybody want to share a poem? Please let me know, and you will be the next reader in a queue. Meanwhile, we have Michael that wants to read one poem. And Michael, the mic is yours.
Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, yeah, 1. Ha! No, 2. Okay, kidding. Sorry. Let's see if I printed this out correctly, or I copied it. Gotta see where it ends at. Okay, yes, that's the end of it. Okay. So I seem to recall you like this one, Annabelle Lee. It was many and many a year ago, in the kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived whom you may know by the name of Annabelle Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and to be loved by me. I was a child and she was a child in this kingdom by the sea, and we loved with a love that was more than love. I and my Annabelle Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of the cold, out of a cloud, chilling my beautiful Annabelle Lee, so that a high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels, not half so happy in heaven, weren't envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, this kingdom by the sea. The wind came out of the cloud by night, chilling and killing my Annabelle Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who are older than we, of how many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in the heaven above, nor the demons down under the seas, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabelle Lee, and the stars never rise but I feel the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabelle Lee. So, all the night tide I lie down by my side, my darling, my life and my bride, sepultured there by the sea, tomb by the sounding sea. And there's that ever cheerful Edgar Allan Poe and Annabelle Lee. So one more to save somebody else's voice. This is Robert Frost. Okay, and it's a road less traveled. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both, and be one traveler. Long I stood and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth, then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that passing there, had worn them really about the same. And both that morning eagerly lay, in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in the wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that made all the difference. Next reader, please, to quote another poet here.
Thank you, Michael, for those poems. they are actually my one of my favorite ones. And we have now Clanix, and then we have Kia reading. Also, Clanix, the mic is yours.
Thank you, dear. Okay, right. This is my level 1 song. This is my first song. Theoretically, when I get to level 70, I'll have 70 songs, but this is level 1. And it's about, in honor of the owner of the planet. And it's a praying mantis. Cut the story short, it's the mantis family. The mantis family has 1,800 branches. And this specifically is the praying mantis. So there are trillions and trillions of mantis practicing their moves all over the leaves, all over the trees. A stick that moves the praying mantis. He collects heads, you know. He's a trophy hunter. He's a cannibal. He's everything you need to rule. And then some mischievous sod shouts, "Spider!" And they all disappear but one in the middle of the leaf. And the leaf ain't trembling. Neither is the king. But he knows what a spider can do. He knows all about silk and being. Well, so he goes, crap, I better get away. This is my life at stake. And he tries to jump onto the next leaf. He grows wings and jumps and makes it. The spider follows him. And he grows wings and he becomes the phoenix and he flies again and he jumps to the next leaf and the spider follows him. He's been practicing his praying mantis kung fu for this moment. So he jumps a few more leaves and he thinks, crikey, now I'm good, now I can really fly like a spider. He goes, I've got wings. He goes and he turns round and he faces the spider. He collects heads, you know. And I've called him Indiana Jones. And he turns to face the spider and the spider looks him in the legs. All 8 eyes, 1 eye for each leg. And the spider speaks perfect. Perfect. And the mantis lifts his leg. And it means whip. And the spider imagines losing an eye. And he doesn't like that. So he turns around and runs away. And the champion stands there on his leaf. And the leaf is trembling in awe. And behind him appears the ghost mantis, 400 times his size, and eats the champion. Why? 'Cause he's a cannibal.
You made me smile, Clanix. Thank you for this, I don't know, song, poem. Anyway, it was, yeah, it was nice. Thank you. Now, Kia, please, the mic is yours, dear.
Oh, thank you, Annika. This one is one that I wrote, and the earlier poems reminded me of this. This is one I wrote for my partner in real life. This is called Sail My Seas, My Sailor. Sail my seas, my sailor, plumb my unexplored depths. Sail my soul with your tiller, till me, till nothing is left. Let my heart be your mainstay, your compass point at my breast. Sail my mind with me, sailor, my waves are beginning to crest. Search my uncharted waters, finding the treasures down there. Search with your strength and your courage. Still, it is love that we share. Search for the wonders within us, and the whole world can be ours. Fly with the four winds, my sailor, but within my sheets take your rest. Sail my seas, my sailor. I wrote a poem for Les Patterson, great Australian poet, and I'll do this one. It's called One Great Poet. I recall the great poet Les Murray when asked about his mountain of work, hundreds and thousands of poems in his 40 years of writing. He said, I have perhaps a handful that are my favorites, poems that I think have merit, and that if I am remembered for these few pieces, I will die happy. Or as any professional photographer will tell you, I take hundreds of photos just to get one that I like. You hear sportsmen and women talking about being in the zone. It's true of many things that we do in our world, and our writing in particular, that although not everything we write is going to be excellent or magical, we must continue our quest to find the zone, our zone, that one perfect moment in time. And I'd like to read one more by E. Cummings. I was going to read one by Les Patterson, but it's tough, it's hard going. So I'll read this E. Cummings, probably my favorite poem, called It May Not Always Be So. It may not always be so, and I say that if your lips, which I have loved, should touch another's, and your dear strong fingers clutch his heart, as mine in time not far away, if on another's face your sweet hair lay, such a silence as I know, or such great writhing words as uttering overmuch, stand helplessly before the spirit at bay. If this should be, I say, if this should be, you of my heart, send me a little word, that I may go unto him and take his hands, saying, accept all the happiness from me. And then shall I turn my face and hear one bird sing terribly far away in the lost lands. Thank you.
Wonderful, Kia, thank you very much. And now I am I will be reading my own, and I was thinking on local chat. it is a lesson. In those earliest days when I was 17 and I didn't know who I was, defenseless, waiting for a hint from a god or from the devil, but saw as much I didn't get any. I kept searching for some, walking the streets down alone, smoking my first cigarette, trying cheap wine and sex and live life to the bones. And I have seen that it doesn't have to be how it has to be and how I have been told that it must have been. I rebelled louder in time, like troubadour wandering through cities and countries with a missing purpose. Escaped out of four walls, a place called home, into the cold and rain and snow and tears, into new sounds, new scents, and somehow into new me. From a home that was never a home, from the man who masked assaults with the word stepfather, from a mother who pretended to not see things that every day happen. Number 1, 2, 3, and 4, and number 5, me, the oldest unwanted number. And the cold, and the rain, and the snow, and the tears were good. And the cities and countries, its spaces haunting me sometimes, even today in my dreams, were good too. The world is mine to be. Unwanted lessons of life are the best lessons I got. My true or they truths or anybody true. I'm not the only true that the world knows. There is so much more behind the closed doors of places called homes. So please go and open them. Unfold your wings, learn dreams to be yours, not somebody else. Do as I did, and I have got them under my skin and out of my skin, all mine and infinitely free. Thank you, and it was my own poem called Lesson. And thank you, guys.
Okay, lovely. Thank you,
Annika. I don't think I've read this since I wrote it back in 2013. It's called February. The Purification Mud Month. The smart kid said, "Hey, I know what's in Pandora's box." It was orange juice drink. It wasn't ordinary orange juice though. That would be made from oranges and make Pandora's box an orange crate. It was orange juice drink. I asked him how he could know. As I did, I got thinking that I'd already tasted real orange, and I knew it tasted nothing like orange juice drink. That was more death, greed, dismay, cruelty, and old age. In fact, all the evils of the world flying from her box that day, but who could know if it was dressed just right as orange juice drink? I started thinking maybe the kid had something then, because after all, even oranges did have some water in them all their lives, but it wasn't added water for profit. With that proposition, out came the real juice, 1 drip at a time, joining the political parties. For the glory of concentrate, or under the strictest jurisdiction, the water party for purity, making orange juice drink politics vil, understood by the few who swore by it, but never drank it, to write the rules for the many, but usually only because it was thicker and glowed bright inside Tetra packs, called the sun. The only things that could hold it. Until we easily cried out for water, and your orange juice drink stop burning our lives. But it never does, even as it tries to squeeze every orange on earth into Pandora's old dead box so it can have water. Because nothing can live inside before mixing it up again for profit in its replacements to spread the orange juice drinks light. Then Zeus rescues Pandora in the end, at least that's how the kid told it, having followed enough to ask him why he was standing by me, ready with a receipt for hope, looking, as is the expected rain, to juice back into the oranges, he said, and for the very first time too, until the most swollen become unhappy and try the hardest to turn back into orange juice drink. Those I always leave in the box, he added. The rest I put in crates.
Thank you so much, Clanix, for sharing this one. And awesome, as always. And does anybody have a poem to share? Please do not hesitate. We still have like 12 minutes of the event there. And if you have a poem, then we will gladly hear it. And we have Michael, our amazing poet here. The mic is yours.
I can do another one if nobody wants to.
Well,
Who was that?
I got two, Kia, but then right after that,
Yeah,
I'd like
please,
to-
go. Please.
I got one by me. It's a recent one. I'm talking about all the social isolation going on in the world. As soon as I find it again, here we go. I'm so sorry. I lost the page as we were talking.
Lovely.
All right, so this is called Serious Loneliness. And, okay, there's the whole thing. And all I gotta do is find it again. There we go. Singled out across the nation, tripped up in social isolation. Attempts at conversation and vulnerability seem at times to be beyond our capability. Hurtness played out with damages done. Meanness rounded before niceness begun. Seeking each other in loneliness we've seen. CQ calls sent out to be wished upon strangers, though each of us are alerted to the dangers. We tried to receive but instead push away, hoping maybe tomorrow will bring its better day. Lights turned down, perhaps too low, neon flashes thrill with their influence. Lost up in the crystalline banality of a stranger's mind, it becomes harder to dream of what we might find. Loneliness leads only to more loneliness. All the world seems to be turned amiss. Arming ourselves into extreme separation, fall into the disgrace of based on COVID and all that, right? And you remember me? I got one that's a little bit longer, not mine, but I just want to finish today, or my part of today in this. As soon as I find the right page again, I'm so sorry. Okay, so old classic, and you know me, you know I love old classics, right? And let's make sure that's that's the last line. Okay. All right, so Kublai Khan, or a vision and a dream, a fragment. In Xanadu did Kublai Khan a stately pleasure-dome decree, where off the sacred river ran through caverns measureless to man, down to a sunless sea. So twice 5 miles of fertile ground, with walls and towers were girdled round, and there with gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree. And there were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a cedar and cover, a savage place as holy and enchanted as air beneath a waning moon was haunted, by woman welling for her demon lover, and from this chasm of ceaseless turmoil seething, as if earth is vast thick pants were breathing, A mighty fountain momently was forced. Amid those swift, half-intermittent bursts, huge fragments vaulted like a rebounding wall, where chaffy grain beneath the threshers fall. And amid those dancing rocks at once and ever, it flung up momently the sacred river. 5 miles meandering with amazing motion, through wood and dell the sacred river ran, and then reached the caverns measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And amid this tumult, Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway to the waves, where was heard the mingling measure. From the fountain and the caves, it was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer in a vision once I saw, and it was an obsidian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song to such a deep light twould, and that with me loud and long I would build that dome in the air. Sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard see them there, and all cry, beware, beware. His flashing eyes, his floating hair, circle round him thrice. Close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honeydew hath fed and drunk the milk of paradise. And Kia, like is all yours.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Kia, please go on.
Thank you. Thank you. This is that Les Murray poem that I was hesitant to read before, but it's interesting, and it goes along with some of the other things that have been read. It's called An Absolutely Ordinary Rainbow by Les Murray. And I can't put it in chat because my Google won't let me, or the website won't let me. The word goes around Reppins, the murmur goes round Lorenzinus. At Tattersalls, men look up from sheets of numbers. The stock exchange scribblers forget the chalk in their hands. And men with bread in their pockets leave the Greek club. There's a fellow crying in Martin Place. They can't stop him. The traffic in George Street is banked up for half a mile and drained of motion. Crowds are edgy with talk, and more crowds come hurrying. Many run in the back streets, which minutes ago were busy main streets, pointing. There's a fellow weeping down there. No one can stop him. The man we surround, the man no one approaches, simply weeps. He does not cover up. Weeps not like a child, not like the wind, like a man, and does not declaim it, nor beat his breast, nor even sob very loudly, yet the dignity of his weeping holds us back from his space, the hollow he makes about him in the midday light, in his pentagram of sorrow. The uniforms back in the crowd who tried to seize him, stare out at him and feel with amazement their minds longing for tears as children for a rainbow. Some will say in the years to come, a halo or force stood around him. There's no such thing. Some will say they were shocked and would have stopped him, but they will not have been there. The fiercest manhood and toughest reserve, the slickest wit among us trembles with silence and burns with unexpected judgments of peace. Some in the concourse scream who thought themselves happy. Only the smallest children and such look out of paradise, come near him and sit at his feet. With dogs and dusty pigeons. Ridiculous, says a man near me, and stops his mouth with his hands as if it uttered vomit. And I see a woman shining Stretch out her hand. Shake as she receives the gift of weeping. As many as follow her also receive it. And many weep for sheer acceptance, and more refuse to weep for fear of all acceptance. But the weeping man, like the earth, requires nothing. The man who weeps ignores us and cries out from his writhing face and ordinary body. Not words, but grief. Not messages, but sorrow. Hard as the earth, sheer, present as the sea. And when he stops, he simply walks between us, mopping his face with the dignity of one man who has wept and now has finished weeping. Evading believers, he hurries off down Pitt Street. And that's An Absolutely Ordinary Rainbow by Les Murray. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kia. And we have Clanix now reading. And I think it will be the last poem for today, or either a poem or a bard singing. So please, Clanix, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Annika. Okay, yeah, this is a song. I've been working my way into bardship, so this is, I suppose, a level 2 song. It's a foretelling by somebody on the internet. The planet killer is coming. When the bloggers blog of doom. It's the asteroid called Apophis, and it's gonna hit us kaboom. And if it's not by a flaming meteorite or a supernova's black hole jet, it will be by our own stupidity, and that's the fate of the bear. Cause wise man in their pants, he said, let's go build an ark on the moon, cause we figure one way or another we are bound to get it soon. Just ask the wisest among us, is it true the end's coming soon? And the answer they're bound to give you is go build an ark on the moon. Cause take your pick of poisons manufactured in a tyrant's rage, or carcinogens so common they are the working wage. The broken plastic filling broken filled, all droplets filling the sea. The microbeads make it slippier, so that makes slippier, nastier disease. And the wise man in the bunch, he said, let's go build an ark on the moon, cause we figure one way or another we are bound to get it soon. Just ask the wisest among us, is it true the end's coming soon? And the answer the bound to give you is, let's go build an ark on the moon, cause there's no life left anywhere. And the forests a billion years old have all been sacrificed for bully beef and a pocket full of paper gold. And you don't need much more malice or zombie apocalypse or a planet killing Death Star or a plague or a flood or a storm. The wise man in their bunch, he said, let's go build an ark on the moon, cause we figure one way or another we are bound to get it soon. Just ask the wisest among us. Is it true? Is the end coming soon? And the answer they're about to give you is let's go build an ark on the moon.
Thank you a lot, Clanix and Kia and Michael, and everyone else, Sheila, for being here with us, and Aideen, my dear sis, and Socrates, of course, too. And we see each other, I guess, at Tuesday 10 a.m. Second Lifetime. And I think Sabre is now starting his event. So I will probably go there to listen to nice poetry too. Thanks again for coming and for sharing your beautiful doings or writings or singings.
Take it, Annika. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.